So, welcome back to another episode. And this is a very special episode because it's about special editions to video games and some of my favorite special editions that I've collected over time. And don't you remember a time when special editions were special because they were few and far between? And now, any single game that comes out always gets a regular edition, maybe a day one edition, and a special edition. They're not as special as they used to be, but there's a few that I have that I want to go through and show you guys and kind of reminisce about that I really do love. And the interesting thing about this is most of the special editions I'm going to show you are Japanese only releases, and I think they created some really unique special editions that never came over here. And I thought those would be really fun to look at. And I thought I'd start off with the very first one here. I'm wearing an Ys shirt, and I thought I'd show you this. Ys 1 and 2 Complete. This is the PC version. It's very shiny there. I wonder if you can even see that. Beautiful looking stuff. And this is a very special edition that Rob got this for me on the Christmas special years ago. And I was completely blown away by it. I remember seeing this special edition and thinking, man, I would love to have this. And I open it up here. This is what makes it so cool. It's one of the books of Ys. And I don't know, as a fanboy to the Ys series, I was like, this is so cool, man. I really just love the detail on it. And quite a few people reached out to me and were like, oh my god, where did you get that? I'm like, well, it's a gift. And I think Rob got it on eBay before, and I think you can still probably pick these up. And there's the inside of the disc and the art book that's going on here. I'll just show this a little bit. All the great artwork for Ys books 1 and 2 Complete on the PC, and what a really great gift to get. I mean, like, we've had some Christmas episodes where it's very hard to top them, and I don't think we can, and nor do we try, but this is a very treasured one for me, for sure. Speaking of which, it was my birthday, and Kim got me this, and this is when we were first kind of dating, and we were first kind of living together, and she got me this. Look at this, on the PS2. Amazing. Ys 1 and 2 Eternal Story, and look at the figures in there. And I'll open this up. This is a really cool one. What happens when I open this up? I'm going to show this over here. I wonder if I can... there's two layers to this. First of all, I'm just looking at my monitor there to line this up. Look at that. That's great. So you got the characters there, and you can put them on this kind of like, here's Ys, and put them in the land of Asteria there. That's pretty awesome. I was just like, I couldn't believe Kim got this, and I think she was talking to Pete Dorr or somebody, and he recommended it, and there's the game itself. Something we would have loved to have gotten on the PS2 over here, but we never got it, and that's a beautiful special edition right there. I was so thrilled to get that. I got some pretty good friends around me, and I treat them really well. They treat me really well, and Kim blew me away. I was just like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I'm marrying this girl, and I absolutely did. So her plan worked. Now, this is a really nostalgic one for me. When I first started the show nearly 9.5 more years ago now, one of my very first episodes, I was like, I have to highlight this game. And I just got the special edition just before I did the episode, and I showed the special edition, and that was like 9.5 years ago. So I really basically, I think, can you believe this is nearly 10 years ago that I picked up this special edition? And this is a goodie. This is a goodie. It's from the Dreamcast era. It's kind of a hazy, beautiful, wonderful time. The Dreamcast, the Sega Dreamcast. Sega Gaga, the special edition right here. And this is a very quirky game where you play as a bunch of kids and you take over the Sega headquarters, and you start making video games and trying to boost Sega's profits, and it's kind of weird. It came out at the end of when Sega kind of declined and finished in the console business, and it's almost like a love letter to fans, and This one hits me really nostalgically, and look at this right away. I just opened it up right here, and there's the Sega Gaga t-shirt in there. And let's be nice and careful. We'll get that out of the way. And here is the contents of the box in there. Look at this. Isn't this nice? There's that. Let's try to show the game. So there's the game itself. It's a really fun simulation, and there's a translation of it. I don't think they ever quite finished the translation, but I'll just show the game itself there. Man, ooh. This is when Sega was Sega. And you know, Sega's had some good moments in the last couple of years, you know, with Sonic Mania and stuff like that, but this is the old Sega. I just love the Sega Gaga logo there. I even remember in RPG Maker years ago making my own Sega Gaga version because I was just so enthralled by the game. And I can't remember what this is. Sorry, it's a little box here. Let's see what this is. What is this? Oh, look at this. This is cool. Yeah. Look at this. A beautiful wooden box. And if you open it up, I remember this now. I remember this from like 9.5 years ago. Oh, here you go. I'm going to put that right up there. I have to look in the monitor again to really get that into focus. But the Mega Drive, the Dreamcast, the Sega Saturn, the Game Gear, the Mark III, Sega's Legacy, there are a bunch of pins. And this, I swear to God, is like Sega saying goodbye. The old Sega saying goodbye. And that's why this special edition really hits me in the Sega nostalgia and just the thinking back to the Dreamcast. And what a wonderful era that is. I'm like, hey, what's this box? And it's nothing. It's just to keep it from getting crunched in here. And yeah, I remember seeing this on a website, some website back in the early days of the internet, showing this special edition, and I was like, oh my God, in my early eBay days, I'm like, I've got to find this, and really great to get this. And I have something to show as a compliment to this. I showed it in a New Game Stuff episode, maybe about 3, 4, maybe even 5 months ago. It's a Sega Gaga VMU, styled after the good old Mark III. Look at this, and the 16-bit era. Look at that. It says 8-bit on there. That's so cool. That's just so fantastic. And that complements the special edition. That's the rare of the rare Sega Gaga stuff to get. And I don't even know what any of these special editions go for anymore. They're not a price thing for me. I think I got that Sega Gaga for maybe around $100 back in the day, and that's 2008-ish, early 2008-ish. Okay, this is a good one as well. Again, I think some of my favorite special editions are the ones that I have some nostalgic memory to, and I definitely have it with this. This came out on the PS3, of all things. The Dungeons & Dragons Limited Edition. Here, I'm just going to pull that back and push that forward so you can really see it. Flip it around. And this is for the old Dungeons & Dragons arcade game, which finally got a physical copy. It hit almost every system back last generation. And I was thrilled. I was like, I finally have something I can physically hold. I had the Sega Saturn, version of it as well. But this is the perfect arcade version. But it wasn't really even about that. It was about I could still get some kind of merchandise for the old Dungeons & Dragons arcade games. And I knew I wouldn't be able to pull this one off. I'm just going to try to hold that right there. And so we got some coasters right here. This is for your beer on a night when you're playing this game. And I'll just have to do it this way. And every special edition, as we know, comes with a soundtrack. And this soundtrack is great. I remember ripping it off the CD just so I could use it for background music. And this is just another empty kind of cardboard bit just so things don't get crunched. I'll put these over here. I have this over here. Here's the physical copy of the game that works in North American PS3s. Very thrilled to get that. And I take out this plastic bit as well. And here is a reprint of the old strategy guide for the Dungeons & Dragons arcade game. I already had this book, and this is a reprinted version of that, which is really nice to get. And what is this? I can't remember what this is. Oh, this is kind of like a little design document showing all of the, let's see. Okay, here we go. Just trying to show you that as close as I can. All the great old classic character designs from the game. And look at this. This is Capcom artwork at its finest back in the day. Capcom had some of the best artists in the business. Look at this. There's still stuff in here. There's like a little arcade promo bit going on in here with all the bits from the old arcade game. So like the headers and things like that used to be on the arcade machines. And here's I believe this is a pencil board. These used to be really kind of big in Japan. It might just be a printed version of the artwork here. Just wanted to show this. Like, look at some of these. This is why, like, they put a lot of effort into these special editions, and I was like, oh my god. I remember I got this off Play Asia a long time ago, and I was like, yeah, this is happening. This is absolutely happening. And it did happen, and I'm really happy that it did. I'm really happy to have these versions of the game in this capacity. And I think this is, I don't know how hard this is to get now. No idea. As I say, I don't get into this stuff for the money. I got into it for the love. And so I've never really checked back up. And I'm going to bring up a special edition that I haven't opened that I want to say is, I don't know why, it's always on my shelf. And, you know, a lot of people collect things and they put things on the shelf and they never look at them again. Stuff on my shelf always catches my eye and it always gives me like a little, it makes me grin inside. And this one absolutely does. This is the Xenoblade Chronicles X, or Xenoblade Chronicles X, however you want to pronounce it, special edition. And I just want to say, look at how beautiful this is. It's got the embroidering right here on the mecha going on. And I just like how, I know it sounds so stupid, how it's kind of like a side created special edition that you kind of put it down like this. This is how it goes on your shelf. It doesn't set up like this, like a lot of special editions do. And I think Nintendo went way out of their way to create something so cool for JRPG fans. And I'm not being funny here. Not only because I'm a fan of Nintendo, but I really think they did a great job on this, giving something to JRPG fans. And I think they did a beautiful special edition. Now, it comes with the game, obviously. It comes with a little USB drive that has the soundtrack on it, so you can just take it right off there. And it also comes with an art book and some kind of postcards going on. So I was like, you know, I haven't even opened this up, and I love this special edition, so just wanted to show that one. Let's go back again to the Dreamcast era. A beautiful time, a really beautiful time, and the more and more we get further away from when that came out, the more nostalgic we all get for it. I know there's so many people that love the Dreamcast like me. Here we go, Eternal Arcadia. This is the Japanese version. To us, it's known as Skies of Arcadia. And we never got a special edition over here, but in Japan, they certainly got this. And look at this special edition. Isn't this beautiful? By the team that did Phantasy Star. And I remember when this game was projected to come out, I was so thrilled, and I remember checking out the early artwork of this, and then the artwork changed. They kind of took it a little bit more, it was very more serious in the beginning, and they kind of made it a little bit more accessible, maybe. It was kind of like promotional artwork, maybe I should say that. And this is a special edition that is pretty awesome. Let's open this up. And it looks like an old book here. And let's open that up, and this is all that's inside of it. It's a copy of the game, a bandana that would have suited me back in the day. It looks like a necklace and a keychain, and some more little keychain guys down there. I'm just gonna get close for you guys. Hopefully, yeah, zoom in. It's working perfectly in there. And is there anything else? I think that's it, really. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. Oh, this is so rad. Sorry, I'm using old terms. I'm like, man, that's rad. This is an art book in there. And this is one game that I would really love a sequel to. I would really love a sequel to. Could you imagine like a PS4 or Switch or an Xbox One or even a PC sequel to this? Man, would that... I mean, what they could do now, because like Skies of Arcadia all takes place in the air with airships and floating continents. What they could do with that technology now for the exploration factor, I could really go for that. And here we go. The last special edition is up on the shelf, and I'm not going to bring it down because I want to describe it to you, what it kind of means to me. And this is a very recent special edition that I picked up, and that is Zelda, the Master Edition for Zelda Breath of the Wild. It kind of got me by surprise because I was the very first person in line at EB Games to pre-order my Switch, and then I get up there and they're like, "Oh, do you want the Master Edition?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, sure." And I really didn't even clue in that it was that version of the game. I thought it was kind of the, you know, the limited edition. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, that's good. So I go into EB Games the morning of the Switch launch, and I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. And I go in, and I go up to the counter, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, you have the Master Edition." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, wait a second. Is that the big black box? I had seen Reggie do an unboxing of it on a live stream one time, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because I was more thinking about the Switch and just playing the game. I wasn't really kind of caught up into the special edition aspect of it. And he's like, yeah, and he puts it on the counter, and I'm like, oh my god, I had no idea it was this huge. It's like kind of funny to say that, Jesus. And people in EB, there was a huge lineup, and everybody's like, oh my god, what is that? What is that? And it made it even more special to me. And I said to the guy, I said, how many did you get at this EB? And he said 2. And I think per EB they got 2 or 3 or to 5, depending on the size of the EB and the popularity of the EB games here in Vancouver. So I took it home, and the reason why this special edition is important to me is, a special edition is just a special edition, but if you don't play the game and the game doesn't mean anything to you, why would the special edition mean anything to you? And I played the game, and the game was like my favorite game of all time, Breath of the Wild. It just took me by surprise. I fell in love with the game, and then I fell in love with the fact that I had this great Master Edition that kind of, embodied my love for it. I remember Pete Dorr saying to me a long time ago, and saying in general, that the reason sometimes why we collect things is not to brag or to be a show-off. It's more to show the embodiment of your love for a given series or one game or whatever. And that's what that special edition means to me. And so whenever I walk into the games room, and I always look up and I always see it, and it makes me smile. And it makes me go, wow. I'm not joking with you. I'm getting shivers. I get shivers a lot sometimes when I get really into this stuff. But it really embodies how much I love that game. And I had the best time of my life playing that game. And I'm so thrilled to have the special edition of it, and this Master Edition of it. And it's not to brag, and it's not to say, oh, I got this cool big box. It's more that shows my love for the game and the great times I had with it. And it's something for me. It's something for me. It's only because I have a show that I can show all of this stuff. But all of this stuff is for me. I don't have a truckload of people coming into my apartment and I'm like, yes, look at all the special editions I have. It's nothing like that. And if anybody does come into my games room, I can say, oh my god, look at this. I really love this. And that's why I got this stuff. And that's what it's really about. And I hope you guys feel the same way about your collection. And hey, some people just like to have the physical stuff and they have no real emotional connection. That's great too. But for me, it's about the love and the nostalgia and the embodiment of my love for this hobby. Absolutely. So anyways, guys, until next time.